I got back to working on this drip rail. It's all pretty much in. I got a few holes in it, but I'm not particularly worried about that. Basically, it's in and straight. Some little holes like that I could probably pick up with a little Bondo, because I will have to Bondo a little. I just couldn't grind it in there very good. Turned out it was better to cut the gap and then weld the edge rather than the other way around. But that's good enough. Now I gotta make one across there. I don't have enough pieces. I got like 6 inches there. I got well, that's 1/2 inch. That's a little over a foot. I probably need 2.5 feet. Well, I'd need to go all the way across. That whole thing's bad. Anyway, here's this drip rail. And move on, see what else I can put in here. I moved on to this bear latch, bear claw latch. I cut a hole out for it, but you can see there's a 3/8 bar in there. When I welded this top on, I put a couple bars in there, but to reinforce it. But what's happening is this dust sticks out 3/8 of an inch past the front of the door, and which means that over here, you can see that one's right about the middle of the door. This is going to be about 3/8 to one side. Maybe it'll be 3/8 to one side. And this is a 1-inch squirt tube here. So hopefully I'll have enough room to get a nut in there, and then I'll probably have to cut a hole in the back of this to get the nut in it. Not exactly sure. I guess first thing is to see if I can even, obviously I can't put this plate in here. What I did on the other one was just cut the backing plate off, which is what I'll do with this one. But this door latch is going to be sticking out, so there's going to be no way of having a flush door panel. And I really don't want to cut that brace out of there. Not only would I have to cut it almost completely in two, the strength of that rod would be completely gone. I don't know whether I just stuck that down in there or how far it went, or if I welded it. I don't know. Maybe I can get a light, look down in there and see. Got a little light right here somewhere. Yeah. Oh, it ends right there. Just showing you anything. Yeah, see it's ends about 2 or 3 inches down here. But you know, here's 2 of them in here. So I actually could cut that off. I don't see any weld marks or anything on it. How I would cut it off is no way I can get a sawzall down in there. Well, once I cut it, I couldn't really weld it back. I have to think about that one for a while. Well, I'll think about it in quiet. Well, that took a little doing. I reached back in there with took a sawzall blade, trimmed it down a little, reached behind it. I was able to cut it off. Got the piece out, and so I didn't mess up anything very bad, I don't think. And I still have a room to fix this, but I just patched real quick what I cut. I still got a lot of tweaking to do here to get this door plate in, and then it'll get welded, so that'll make this all stronger. I don't know where it's at right now, but I'll put that plate in there and we'll see how it fits. Yeah, that fits good in there now. Going all the way down, so you can see it's below the level here. Good for this, so all I gotta do is cut me a little piece out of here for the this latch to allow it to sit down, and then I'll have to figure out where that bolt goes and mark it. Moving along. Now I'm getting closer. I got this hole kind of chewed out here for the striker bolt. Got a little movement in it. At least I can see where the bolt goes now. Yeah, it looks like it could be a little deeper. I'm trying to reach in there with a flapper disc. Kind of working, but not so good. Looks like it's still not, well, maybe it is fully seated. I still think I need to take it in some. That will stop my door from closing all the way. And it's like it's probably mostly in the bottom there. I'll open that up a little more. Well, I got this all trimmed up where everything fits in it, and got me a hole here. Get in here, and what's going to happen is this bolt I cut out of that plate there, going to fit into the inside of that hole, and then I'll weld that plate onto here. It was tried it a while ago, it was a little too close, so I put a couple washers in it. So I'll see if I can show you a little something here. Put this in. There we go. Well, it's not going down into my thing here. There we go. There's the striker plate flush against the frame, and the door here is now closed all the way. I have a little bit of room here. Move this in a little. It looks like that's about where it should go. So if I pull this in, this is twisting that just a little. I don't know. Yeah, that's better right there. It's not quite flush with the in and out of the door. This needs to go in just a little. Yeah, right there. But my bolt plate is not straight now. Well, what I'll do is I'll take some screwdrivers and drive them in there and get this where it's in a locked position, and I can still unlock it, and everything's flush. And then I'll tack weld both of those in. I want to tack that screw in first, or the nut rather, and make sure the door opens and closes, and then I'll weld them up. Well, I ran into a snag. The problem these door jambs are not parallel. You can see that they go down in there. They're a 1/2 inch wide in the front and almost nothing in the back. And if this one here is solid against the door frame, then we got this much gap. You can see half of that nut in it. And if I kind of bring that into the nut, it pulls the thing out. Let me see if I can show you here. See if the closer I get this nut to being square, the more it's picking this top of this up. So when I flatten it, put it flush, I've got this big gap here. So I'm going to try to bend this a little, and I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to weld the bracket on the inside instead of outside. You can see how much difference that makes. And the back of this nut holding edge here is flush up against the face of that. So what I'm gonna do is try to put me a couple big clamps in there, see if I can't bend this a little. Probably not. I welded it pretty strong, so I'll try to bend it, see what I can get out of that. Now this is the best I could get it. I bent this a little bit, the door part. I machined off the nut on the inside there, so it would go more towards the outside of the car. I clamped this and kind of bent it a little bit. I've got all of the mechanism loose. And everything is just barely tight. So I'm going to try tack welding this in a few places and see what results I got. Now here's the male side. Looks pretty good. Now that I know it's crooked, I can see it's crooked, but first glance it looks good. This all, never be able to tell that. You can tell it's in a little crooked though. But I've got them all lined up. There's the door. Closes real tight. Bottom's pulled in. Top's leaning out on it a little. But I can bend and adjust that. And release is way too easy. Just barely touched it. I can play around with that, but basically the door's in, solid. You got a lot of welding and everything to do. I might have some stuff dragging still. Looks like the middle's not exactly the middle, but that's plenty good. Still have some flex up here in the top, but Rubber will take that out. Yeah, that's way too easy. I think it wasn't closed all the way. Good enough. I don't worry about the sophisticated details later. At least for now, I got my last door hinge in, and awaiting this final cleanup and adjustment. This one here, the door is not going to be moving around anymore. I could still bend that a little, of course. I need to clean it up first, make sure it's right, but it's good enough. Close this through both latches. And that's something that was kind of had to wait on until pretty much the door was all put together and then braced. But moving along, I looked around here and I found some more pieces of pipe. I've got a couple of I don't see them here right now. Junk pieces of 1 inch, like maybe a foot long. I gotta throw my trash out tonight. Yeah, you get lots of bolts and stuff. You also get lots of paper and stuff. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking a piece of 1 inch and putting it in there in the middle, and then trying to use my 1/2 inch pieces on the sides, so I don't have to buy any more metal. That'd look a lot better if I just had 1 piece, but I don't have 1 piece. Just have to use what I can find.